What is up, lads? About 2 weeks ago we took a look at the best attack speed items. If you haven't seen that, definitely go and check it out, by the way. Anyway, most of the comments on there were asking which defensive item is best, so that's what we're going to do today. We're focusing kind of on AD carry, but it's still relevant for other roles. These are some of the comments from my last item video, and I love doing these item videos, honestly. And if you love them, then leave a like or dislike it if you didn't enjoy it. But this time, leave another item suggestion or any comment to be featured in my next one. So that's enough chit chat. Let's get started. So season 6 has actually revamped defensive items completely. It kind of comes down to 3 main items now: Mercurial Scimitar or QSS, More of Malmortius or Hex Drinker, and Sterics Gauge. So let's just compare them to start with. For Mercurial, we're mainly building it for the Quicksilver Sash component part, which is 1300 gold on its own and removes all debuffs from you. We can then turn that into Mercurial. Overall it costs 3700, so 2400 more, but we get slightly more magic resist, AD, lifesteal, and the active now also gives us an extra 50% move speed for a second. More of Malmortius, again, we're mainly building it for the Hex Drinker component, which is 1300 gold on its own and gives us that shield that blocks magic damage. Upgrading it to more is actually cheaper. It's 3250 in total, so 1950 more, and we get more magic resist, more AD, armor pen, but the extra passive is the big thing. When it procs now, we gain a bigger shield and life grip, which gives us 25% attack speed, 10% spell vamp, and 10% lifesteal. Sterics is a little bit different. It doesn't really build out of anything as useful as QSS or Hex Drinker, but it is cheaper. 2700 gold in total now. It gives us health plus 25% base attack damage, and when we take a chunk of damage within 5 seconds, we get another plus 25% base attack damage and a shield for 30% of our max health. Okay, now we know what they all do. Bit more of an idea how they look next to each other, but let's go into more detail. I'm going to start with More because I think this is probably the best one. I'm just going to say that. I think it's really underrated, so let's go over why. The stats are nice: magic resist, AD, armor pen, so we're doing more damage. Armor pen is great for abilities, but it's the passive parts that are the big thing. So the shield on Hex Drinker scales with levels. It means that at level 18 it's blocking 280, at like level 10 for example it would block 200. More shield doesn't scale with levels. It's a flat 300 plus whatever bonus magic resist you have. Like More, for example, gives us 50, so that's 350 shield already no matter what level you are. The other passive part is life grip, and it's so overpowered. Like when the shield procs, it gives us 25% attack speed, 10% spell vamp, and 10% lifesteal, but it lasts until we're out of combat, no matter what health we're on. We buy this mainly for burst, right? Someone tries to one-shot us at the start of a fight and the shield saves us, so for the whole rest of the fight, the entire team fight will have that bonus attack speed and lifesteal. And by the way, that's as much lifesteal as you get with Mercurial Scimitar. The downside is that those passives only proc versus magic damage. Like if magic damage takes you down to like, I don't know, a 50% health, right, and then their AD finishes you off, that is not going to proc it and you don't get any benefit. You also have to remember that the shield only absorbs magic damage. Even if it's proc, someone can just auto attack you to death. Against burst or even just AP, this is a really solid item, and in my opinion probably one of the best defensive items you can get. Well, honestly, it's kind of like a borderline offensive item, so there you go. Mercurial is still really good. Crowd control is always around in the meta, and as an AD carry, if we're not auto-attacking, then we're not life-stealing or doing any damage. It gives us some MR, though less than more AD though, and 10% flat lifesteal. This is really what it comes down to. It's not that amazing stat-wise. It's the most expensive, but if you need to remove crowd control or anything like Malzahar ult, Darius bleed stack so he can't dunk you, Zed ult, Vlad ult, like for all of this stuff, Mercurial is amazing. Let's be honest, okay, Hex Drinker won't save you if you're hit by a bind and the team catch you, even if the shield procs. It's not there to block damage. If you're dying to burst, the Mercurial is not going to save you. It's there to remove stuns or damage that will kill you eventually, not block damage or survive burst. Sterics is a little bit different. It's the most general, well-rounded defensive item, I guess. Like, it doesn't really have a special job, it's just there to not let you die. There are 2 things I want to point out though. It increases your base AD. That means your AD before the little green plus number. It doesn't include AD from runes or items, just the champion base. Base AD increases with levels, so the later this is, the more AD you'll get, but most abilities use bonus AD, not base. If you look at this, Lucian's Q is flat damage plus a percentage of his bonus AD, so the extra AD he has. For these bonus AD abilities, Sterics is not going to increase the damage. Like Lucian's Q will not do more damage with the Sterics. That's not the whole story though. Some champion abilities actually scale with total AD, so bonus plus a base. Callista, for example, her Q and E both scale with total AD, meaning that Sterics is increasing your auto damage plus Q plus E damage. The second thing is the shield only procs if you take a certain amount of damage within 5 seconds. So if you take a burst damage at the start, then run away and then go back into the fight, you can die without this shield ever proccing. At level 18, okay, it's 1800 damage you have to take to proc it. Now Lucian, for example, with no health items or anything else, only has 1914 health at level 18. You will get 400 from Sterics, sure, but you almost have to die within those 5 seconds to get that shield to proc. I know it sounds really strange, okay, but on AD carries it's kind of only worth getting against people that try to one-shot you, like a Fizz or a Zed or a Talon. The shield will actually be better at level 18 than a more of Malmortius shield, plus it absorbs all type of damage, so if it procs it's great, but it's not as easy to as it seems. So this kind of sums up those three. More is great against AP or just more damage. Really, Mercurial to remove stuff like damage or crowd control, and Sterics is great damage wise on some champions or in general against very high burst. Now there are a few other options, so let's just go over them. Guardian Angel is another one, got a buff this patch and actually is pretty decent. Stat wise and gold wise, it's not really that efficient without using the passive, so this is like if all else fails then get a GA. If Zed is so fed, for example, he can kill you even when you QSS his ultimate, then GA is a good item. It's also actually kind of offensive in a way. Stay with me here, I know it's a bit weird, but basically it lets you be more aggressive because you aren't afraid of dying, so you'll output more damage. It sounds strange, I know it does, but if you're too afraid to auto in a fight, you're doing nothing. If the safety of a GA lets you get stuck in more, then you'll actually do more and see a boost in damage. Banshees isn't really that great anymore. It's decent health and magic resist, but it's not giving us any bonus damage at all. In general, it's there to block crowd control or big damage. Now, more of Malmortius blocks the damage for us with the shield. Mercurial cleanses the CC for us anyway, and both give us more damage after. The only time I think it's actually worth is if there is something that has high burst and crowd control together. So think of like an Annie ultimate. You need to cleanse a stun and survive, so Banshees is actually good. Last one is Frozen Mallet. It's good damage, a lot of health, like more health than anything else here, plus it slows people you hit. This is more of a like, okay, it gives some health anyway, but it's more designed to prevent you taking damage in the first place. Like you'll kite and not get hit as much, so you don't need armor or magic resist to mitigate the damage. You're just not taking as much damage in the first place. Okay, so that basically wraps up the video. That is what defensive items you want to get. And remember, if you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, share. But for now, I'm going to leave you with the robots.